What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the Alchemical Life podcast. This is your host, Abigail Crow speaking, and I'm going to help you determine whether or not you are married to the mileage. And also, if you stick around, I'm going to talk about my top 3 recommendations to have an absolutely stellar run. Okay? 3 things that will almost guarantee an absolutely amazing run. Stay tuned. You are not going to want to miss. First, hey, what's up? I'm Abigail. I'm a coach. I'm a strength coach. I train a lot of endurance athletes. I am an endurance athlete myself. It's really enjoyable for me, unless it's not. Last week, we were in the kitchen hanging out, chatting. I'm back in the regular studio. Again, if you see me look down, it's because I'm looking at my notes. But I'm joined with my favorite drink, Liquid Death. I love a good sparkling water, and I've been always on the Topo Chico train until I found this lime Liquid Death, and it's just, there's truly not much better than that. So we'll be sipping on that. Grab a Liquid Death, grab some lunch. Maybe you're also on a run. Who knows? Whatever you're doing, tune in. It's time to figure out if you are married to the mileage, or if you need to send this to a friend who you know is married to the mileage, who needs to hear this. They need to go to MA, Mileage Anonymous, and figure out that they've got a freaking problem. Okay. I also speak from experience because I have I'm not necessarily a long time runner, and I've already been where I've been married to the mileage. I speak because I know. Okay. What does it mean to be married to the mileage? Abigail, what are you even talking about, married to the mileage? This is where you are so concerned with hitting a certain amount of miles per week that is the number one thing. Nothing else matters. That is who you're loyal to, the miles only. And I love the loyalty, very great, but oftentimes it's at the expense of things that are not so great. So, how do you know if you are married to the mileage? Well, there are a few ways to figure this out. One, you probably just know already, and I don't really need to tell you. You just feel it in your gut. Whenever I say, "Are you married to the mileage?" You're like, "She's not talking about me." I'm probably talking about you, okay? I love you. I care for you. Talking about you. Thing 1, you ignore internal cues to hit miles. Okay, what does this mean? I'm exhausted. I am tired. I've had a very hard training week. And not just the normal, like, I'm tired, I don't want to train. Truly, like, I am unwell. I'm not good. This is going to be the hardest easy miles of my life. Okay. You are completely ignoring all of these things that your body is screaming at you. Likely you've been feeling this way for several days, just totally exhausted. You've been ignoring all these signs, and you've been saying, I'm going for the run anyways, because if I don't get 45 miles this week, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I'm a failure. Oftentimes, in all seriousness though, it's you're ignoring internal cues to hit those miles, and there is an association with, there is a feeling of failure if you do not hit a certain amount of miles per week. It's usually the feeling of dread. I failed. I'm not showing up the way that I should. It is a lie, but it is this little internal bully that just bounces around in your mind that tells you have to get a certain amount of miles per week. What is the other thing? You sacrifice quality sessions in order to hit miles. Okay, so usually there's been some internal cues that have happened where you're like, I don't feel well, I just got to hit these miles. Then, in order to hit those miles, time continues to go on. It still maybe becomes a challenge to hit your weekly mileage, or you've been ignoring those internal cues to hit your weekly mileage, and something's got to give, right? In order to continue to maintain that level of volume, the intensity, the quality sessions have to go down. So now your quality sessions are just you're not putting up the numbers you need to. Maybe you skip out on the quality sessions. The quality sessions become a little wishy-washy because you've just stretched out so many miles in one quality session that you're not actually doing the quality anymore. You're just sort of doing like a mid-intensity run for a longer distance in order to hit the miles that you need to for the week. This is not great, because now what's happening is you're really not just interrupting your own internal cues, you're interrupting your actual training block which long term you're sacrificing your goals, you're sacrificing potentially a really successful, fun race because you want to get a certain amount of miles per week. So there's another reason. This one's kind of funny because it doesn't actually mean you're always married to the mileage. I think it more means you're obsessed with running. But this can be a sign that you're also married to the mileage is and this will also happen like when you're just in a really intense training block. These things are real. Like there are some sacrifices that you have to make. So ignoring some internal cues might happen. Obviously, sacrificing quality sessions to hit miles is just not okay. That's not what you want to do. But this next one, it does sometimes happen just because you're in a hard training block, and so things occur. This also could be a sign that you're married to the mileage. And it's if you're canceling plans, you're canceling social events, you're showing up late for events, you're showing up late for work. Potentially you're kind of lying about like, I'm busy, I've got this thing, I don't feel well. But it's in order to extend out time so that you can get more training in, you can get more mileage in. And I've been guilty of all these things, by the way, but I've been guilty of this one just for lifting training in general, where I'm like, can't do it because I've just been tired from my training or because I've wanted to go and have a little bit of extra time to get more training in. And so guilty as charged. This is usually when I'm deep in a hard training block and I just like cannot summon the energy to go do anything else other than make sure that my body and brain get through the training that I need to and the work that I have to do. But as far as doing extra work, as far as showing up for any social events, it's harder to get those things done. And I often find myself excusing myself of those things because of my training. But this can also be a reason that you're married to the mileage because you have to get a certain amount of miles per week. I've got to get these last 3 miles in for this week. I'll miss brunch with my friend on Sunday because I've got to get these last 3 to 5 miles in. It's just, or I've got whatever, or I've got to tell them that I've got to push it back a little bit because something happened with my baby or whatever. That can be a sign that you're you're a little bit married to the mileage, and you might have a little bit of a problem. You might need to go to MA, Mileage Anonymous. Okay, this is your place. And I think the last big one is you need the round number. You need to upload it to Strava. Like you need to record it on your watch. If your watch doesn't record it, it doesn't count. If Strava doesn't have it up there, it doesn't count. How many kudos can I get? And I need it to be a round number. Like if I'm doing a run and it's at 5.94 and it doesn't get to 6, it's driving me crazy. This is a little bit of, these can be a couple of things, right? This doesn't always mean you're married to the mileage. This could be that you're just a little bit like OCD. And I also have this tendency, right? So speaking from personal experience, it could also mean that you like to run a little bit for the social cred, right? So there's that as well. But a lot of the time it's so that this can also be because you're looking at that number. I want to see it. I want to see it on Strava. I want to make sure my watch has all of my data because I need, even though I know I hit those miles, I need the number there. I need the data there. I need the system to have it in there. And I want the round numbers. I want it to be exactly 45 miles. If it's a little bit more, that's fine. But if it's 44.79, I can't do that. It needs to be 45 miles exactly. Those are signs that you are married to the mileage. And the next thing would be then, Abigail, how do I stop? One, usually it's an underlying trait. There are underlying traits that go hand in hand with this, which is you probably do have a little bit of like a perfectionist, OCD like brain. And I totally get it. I feel you and hear you. And honestly, I probably need to go to MA as well, Miles Anonymous. But I think that another thing is being able to back up off and always return to what the goal is. And if the goal is to have fun, to run forever, to get a certain time of your race, you need to ask yourself did me hitting 45 miles help me get that, accomplish those things? Did me hitting for 45 miles, did I have fun? Do I still love running? Do I feel good? Is my body okay? Can I show up for life in the way that I need to? Did I do these 45 miles? Am I closer to my goal? Did this week end up being something that helped move the needle toward what I'm trying to accomplish? Or did it not? Am I not able to, and it also depends on your goals and what you want out of running and what you want out of life. But ask yourself those things. For me, it is, I want to have fun. I want to be able to use it as an outlet and a tool to push myself and also be able to have energy for my family, my friends, and my work, because those things are more important to me truly than running. And so I have to figure out, when I get to that place where I'm married to this thing, what really is where are my priorities? Are they in the right spot? And I need to regroup sometimes. Ask yourself, why do you do it? does hitting that 45 miles allow you to still adhere to who you are and what you want to do in this life? If it's taking away from that, maybe reevaluate. And then, did hitting that mileage help you get where you need to go in your training? And if it didn't, if it hindered it, if it was a net neutral, then ask yourself, do I need this much mileage? Do I need this much mileage? If it's a neutral and I'm also tired and exhausted and whatever, and it seemed to have, my numbers have been looking exactly the same for the past 3 weeks and I should be here, then maybe we don't need as many. Also, maybe we could just pull some and see if you have more energy to do other things. Those are things that I would be asking myself if I were you. If you are somebody, or, your friend has sent you this podcast and you're like, God dang it, Suzanne, I can't believe you sent me this. How rude. If you're asking yourself this reluctantly because your friend sent it to you, am I really doing this mileage because I believe it is helping me be a better person, accomplish the things I want to accomplish, hit the times I want to hit in this future race? And if the answer is no, we might want to consider adjusting. Okay. I think also married to the mileage people are people that have a very, 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 very hard time taking any kind of deload. Again, can speak from personal experience. It's very hard for them to have a week where they hit like half of that mileage, or God forbid, take a week off of running. Those people have the hardest time being able to back up off a little bit and say, I'm going to actually just take some time off because I just got through a 12-week training block and it was really intense. I don't need to actually go that hard for a little bit, for a while. Okay. So those are the things that I would ask myself, yourself, if you are struggling to, have a little bit more of an open relationship with mileage. I do believe in the covenant of marriage, but when it comes to marriage with miles, I think that, an open relationship, polyamory, might be just as viable. A break, perhaps, just a break, might be a good option, might be something to look into. So that is how I would look into, if you've got the problem, and in solving the problem, just asking yourself those questions and really having enough awareness to be able to say, okay, I'm going to cut a little bit here. And it doesn't have to be a lot, because if you are married to the mileage, and cutting 10 miles per week is like asking somebody to kill their brother. I mean, it's like, what did you just ask me to do? But being able to even cut off a mile here or a mile there from a training session, and maybe do that with the notion of, I'm going to increase intensity here or here so that I can have my quality sessions back, so that I can really move the needle on my goal, what I'm trying to accomplish. That often helps. Something to consider. Just think about it. If you're wanting to really be able to continue to still hit miles and feel awesome and stay resilient in handling the volume that you want to handle, and you want me to help just exacerbate the problem of being married to the miles, check out some of my programs. My Strength for Runner programs. I have a few. They're going to be out on Train Heroic. They are out now, actually, but I'm still editing them. I don't know if they're actually fully live for sale. They are done. They are ready. I'm just making sure they're finalized. But I have 3 programs, one for somebody who is in season, one for somebody who's returned to running post-injury or is new to lifting in general, just wants to feel good. And then I also have a program for someone who has come from a lifting background and wants to start getting introduced to running. So 3 programs. And if you don't know which one's right for you, you can take a quiz, which is awesome. I love quizzes. They're so much fun, and it will make sure that you are put in exactly the right program that you need for what you're trying to accomplish. Check them out. They should be in the links below. If you have any questions about any of them, my social media is in the links below. If you don't have any questions about any of them, hit the subscribe button and like, or just follow me on social media and stalk me. That's also fun. We can be friends, Liquid death break. Amazing. So I'm going to finish out today. We're going to talk about 3 tips for a great run. How to guarantee it. I can't guarantee anything, but pretty much guarantee that you're going to have a stellar run. Okay? 3 things. You're going to be super disappointed when you hear this because they're really obvious, but now that you're here and I've roped you in, you have to listen. Okay? The first one is carbs. Okay. Have carbs the night prior. I know that there are some people who get up really early in the morning. They're my summertime runners in Florida. Hey, y'all, I totally feel you. And they're like, I literally start running at 5:30. I'm unwilling to get up at 4 in the morning to eat carbs. Okay. I get it. I hear you. I will not try to convince you to eat carbs in the morning. I do think you should eat carbs before your training run, but whatever. I do think you should eat carbs in the morning. So I'm just going to say this preface. Carbs the morning of are great. About an hour and a half out are great, are awesome. But carbs the night prior, if you're unwilling, having carbs the night prior will help you guarantee to have a stellar run. Now, the night prior, because you have more time to digest and absorb everything, you could have them with some fats, maybe even with some protein, and they will sit in your stomach, digest, absorb, and then be ready to use the next day. You'll be able to top off those glycogen stores while you're sleeping. Hopefully, while you're sleeping, you don't have to do too many tasks, even though your body is probably spending a lot of time trying to fix and heal all the things that you've tried to mess up in your other training sessions the day before. But we're going to hope that you have plenty of glycogen ready for the next morning. Okay. So that being said, eat carbs the night before, anywhere from like 50 to 100 grams, depending on how long the training run is. And I personally, because I don't like to go to bed on a super full stomach, I will have almost exclusively carbs if I know that that is the case, because I do want them to digest pretty quickly and I want to go to bed. All right. Morning of, same thing. Try to keep it pretty exclusively carbs. Around 50 grams of carbs before a training run is awesome. If your stomach can't tolerate 50 grams of carbs, 25 to 30 is also good. Also good. Whatever your stomach can tolerate. Best things for me, my stomach can tolerate. I know some people who are like dates and peanut butter people. I don't know how they do that. It would move right through me. So I do love a good caramel rice cake, banana, honey. Hear me out. Hear me out. It's pretty good. Okay. So second thing after having carbs the night before, morning of, all right, is get a good night's sleep. Holy crap. I know this sounds like you're like, duh, Abigail, but I'm not kidding. Getting a good night's sleep is such a game changer in terms of just perceived sense of confidence, restfulness, and also actual restedness when you go into your training session. What does getting a good night's sleep look like? It doesn't just mean getting 8 hours. It means getting 7 to 9 quality hours of sleep. How do we do this? Start settling down a few hours prior. Also, I know my parents are going to be listening to this like, you are such a bee, especially if you have young kids. I get it. Just skip over to this part, okay? Slam a melatonin and pass out, all right? Do what you can. Take some magnesium. You'll be fine. I promise. They do get older. Okay, now back to my people who can actually have a longer bedtime routine. Start winding down at least 2 hours prior. I would stop eating food a couple hours before. I would stop drinking water about an hour before, and especially stop, like, definitely not chugging water an hour before bed. But I'd stop drinking water about an hour before bed, and then I like to have a little bit of a routine about an hour before. You can do it upwards of a few hours prior, but I like to start realistically about an hour to an hour and a half before, dimming the lights, keeping low lights, not white lights either, very warm lights around the place that you're living, sleeping, existing, the home, apartment, condo, a hut, whatever it is. Dimming those lights, turning off electronics if you can. If you're like, I'm an electronics person, shut up, Abigail, then putting warm light on the electronics for that feature. And then, or wearing blue light blocking glasses, having some kind of little bit of a ritual. So I like to drink a little bit of tea before I go to bed. Not a lot. I just sip on a warm tea, just soothes my stomach and makes my body feel good and ready and relaxed to go to bed. So sipping on a warm tea, maybe have a heating pad on you, read a book, sit and read. If I'm in personally a very high stress period where I really need to wind down, even a book usually does not help me if it's something where it requires me to really think. So if I do read a book, it needs to be a fiction book, or I like to literally just sit and think. So sometimes I'm stretching, sometimes I'm meditating, sometimes I'm just sitting in a chair, sitting, thinking, or potentially journaling my thoughts so I can get them out on paper before I go to bed. And then I will, as I wind down, sort of just sit, relax, chill, and then eventually move to my bed. I have been taking up a very poor habit of journaling in bed, reading in bed, that kind of thing. I have noticed a huge difference in my sleep latency, which is my time to fall asleep. It has increased dramatically. So it's taken me a lot longer to fall asleep, even if I do those wind down things. And I really do believe it's because I've been doing them in bed. So I've been moving back to my desk or into a chair, like a nice comfy chair, to do those wind down things so that I do not have such a long latency, because it is very frustrating when you are tired and you are ready to go to sleep at 9 p.m. and you are tossing and turning until 10 p.m. Let me tell you, it is not fun. So if that is also you and something that you struggle with, I would recommend taking your booty out of the bed. And if you need to, sit on the floor. I mean, for real. Sit on a couch, sit on a chair, invest in a nice yoga mat, be on the ground, be out of your bed. to do the activities, except for the other activities, if you know what I'm saying. You can stay in the bed. I mean, or you can go wherever you want for those. I don't really care. That's y'all's business. But as far as getting to sleep, try and keep the bed for sleep and the other S word, if you know what I'm saying. The third thing after carbs and a good night's sleep is a proper warm up. Now, I could do a whole episode on what it means to have a proper warm up. I love the Running Public's podcast on how to warm up properly. So I will reference their podcast episode too. If you guys want to check it out, check out the Running Public. I mean, if you typed in the Running Public and then warm up, I'm sure it would come up. They have plenty of episodes on warm-ups, running warm-ups. But a proper warm-up is crucial. And I am not going to be the strength coach that's like, you need to do these exercises before you get out to go run. I do think that there are drills that you can do where you will get your body better prepped for a run. But really, honestly, the best thing to prep you for running is a lighter version of the thing that you're doing, which is running. So doing a slow jog warm up. If you're going into, let's say you're doing a quality session and not a long run, because a long run, you can do some warm up drills and then essentially just warm up and progress into your long run as you need to. But let's say you're doing a quality session, a harder speed workout. Okay. I would start with a slower jog. Then I would move into some drills. Things like hip airplanes, Cossack squats, world's greatest stretch, walking lunges with a knee drive. These are all things that I put on my Instagram too. So if you want to check it out and watch videos of me doing them, they're down there. If not, I have a full, if you're on YouTube, hey, what's up? You can look at my demos. I have a full YouTube library with demos from all my programs and also all of the exercises and warm-ups that I have programmed as well. So check that out. And after the drills, I would go into more closely mimicking that of the training session you're about to do. So if you're going into a speed day, doing things like striders, you want to be able to get your heart rate up. So I want my body to be ready for the training session. I want to get warm. I want to be able to loosen up and be able to move into positions where I'm getting certain muscle groups just ready, loose, some of them tight, stable, ready to go for the training session that I'm about to do. And then start putting it to the test in slower, smaller bouts. So doing some speed striders, anything from, 30 to 100 meter striders, and just getting yourself ready, depending on how long also the speed workout is, maybe even upwards of 200 meter striders, getting yourself ready to do the workout that you're about to do. And that means pushing the speed a little bit, getting ready, getting your body ready, and then also getting your heart rate to have those brief spikes so that it is also ready and you can shake off that first bit of adrenaline that might come from your initial part of your training session. So those are the 3 tips that I would give for having a great run. And I know they were obvious tips, but I hope that I provided also some information on how to actually have those things happen and what those things really look like, because truly you do those 3 things and it's not going to guarantee you a good run. Life happens. Things get stressful. Things get in the way. Some days you just have crap training sessions. Some days you do none of these things and you have great training sessions. It is what it is. But how to definitely increase the probability of having an awesome run, do those 3 things. Let me know how they go for you. That's it for this episode, y'all. How long have we been talking for? I feel like I've been talking for 50 years. 26 minutes. Oh my God. If you stayed this long, comment and be like, oh my God, I've stayed this long. Just say that. Oh my God. I can't believe I'm still here. Holy wow. All right. I will see you guys for another episode of the Alchemical Life podcast next week. We're going to probably be talking about how I went from never hitting a sub 6 mile to hitting a 5:19 mile in 10 weeks. It is going to be epic. I'm excited. Sharing all my secrets, sharing all my coach's secrets. Sorry, Coach Gary. I'm sharing all your secrets, sharing all my teammates. It's going to be awesome. Bye, y'all.